What's up, people? Jay here for PWF Empire.com, here to talk a little bit about Great Balls of Fire. Now let's go ahead and call a spade a spade. Great Balls of Fire, that's a stupid ass name for a show. I don't know about you, but I grew up in the days of pay-per-view names like Armageddon, Insurrection, Bad Blood, No Mercy, Vengeance, Unforgiven, Judgment Day. Things that just elicited thoughts of badassery. They made you feel as if the world was descending to a point of chaos where you had one side versus the other, and this was the stage where those battles were going to be fought. Now here we arrive in the year 2017, and we're basing pay-per-view branding off of an old-ass song from the 1950s. Not exactly my thought of badass, but where WWE dropped the ball with the branding of the show, they more than made up for it with the marquee matches that are going to be featured at Great Balls of Fire. In Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, we have a feud that my fellow PWF Empire contributor Steven said reminded him of Superman versus Doomsday. And I think that's a great comparison because if you look at Roman Reigns, we have a person who for the most part is invincible. However, he comes into contact with this otherworldly, dangerous force that is the monster among men. And I think it's fair to say that at this point, Braun Strowman has made Roman Reigns his bitch. As this feud was developing, I was looking at this and I did find that to be a little bit weird. Even though I overall enjoyed the feud, just that one thing where it's like Roman Reigns is booked so strongly anytime he's outside of the orbit of Braun Strowman, but when he interacts with this one specific individual, all of a sudden there's this weakness that creeps over him and he becomes a completely different person. But I'm at a point right now where I'm 100% sold on this because it actually accomplishes a few very important things. This is WWE showing that they are ready, willing, and able to take a risk in building up a new star. They're basically building the character of Braun Strowman on the back of Roman Reigns. And you had Roman Reigns defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. As I said then, that was a pretty big fucking deal. And you can't screw around with his character based off of that because that would be disrespectful to The Undertaker to have this person be the one that you chose to retire one of, if not the greatest of all time. You can't fuck around anymore. You have to be 100% serious and legit when it comes to the positioning of Roman Reigns on WWE TV. But to say that we are going to risk that to build up a new star and for that to be successful, I think that that's friggin' awesome. And like I said, it was a risk and it is paying off for WWE so far. As far as Roman Reigns is concerned though, even though he expresses his weakness when it comes to Braun Strowman, I don't think that his character is compromised. In all actuality, it does a great thing for him because it grounds him. It makes sure that it reminds us that Roman Reigns is human, that he is not some kind of supernatural being just because he was able to defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He's just a strong fucking dude, and guess what? As bad as you think you are, there's somebody out there that just may be badder than you. And even if Braun Strowman isn't going to be badder than Roman Reigns at Great Balls of Fire, he still provided a challenge. He provided a journey. He provided some obstacles along the way. And that is very important for the character of Roman Reigns to keep things interesting and compelling. Now let's talk about the feud for the Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe. That segment that they had on this past episode of Monday Night Raw, that split screen, sit down conversation between the two, I thought that that segment was very unorganized. It was messy as hell, and I loved every single second of it. It falls in line with exactly what I would expect from those two characters. So I look at Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. I don't expect these two sons of bitches to sit down and have some kind of cordial conversation and, oh, I'm not going to talk over you. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to wait for you to make your point, and then I'm going to respond with mine, and we'll have our disagreements, but we'll shake hands in the end. Fuck that. Nah, it's been so great because there's always been a sense of legitimacy that's been present. It kind of borrowed a few elements from UFC, and I'm like, shit, as much as they've taken from WWE stylistically, go ahead and get something back in return. And they definitely got it in return this time around with Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. This is some great stuff. And I love that the foundation of this feud is very simple. It's one person saying, hey, you have something that I want. I'm going to take it. The other person is like, you want something that is mine? Hell no, it ain't going down like that. And you're pissed off because you want it. You're pissed off because he's trying to take it. Boom, let's fight over it. And this is not WWE trying to force either of them into an alignment where you can only do face things and you can only do heel things. It's just two very strong, very aggressive, very determined people going to battle. And I love it so much. And of course, one of the basic tenets of the professional wrestling industry is good versus evil. But as we talked about on the PWF Empire podcast, great episode, if I do say so myself. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do so. But we talked about good versus evil in wrestling and how, at least this was the perspective that I was coming from, you have some magic to be found in venturing outside of that model every now and again. They did it last year with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, their feud over the WWE Championship, and they're doing it right now with Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe over the Universal title. And once again, they strike gold, or I can't even say this is gold. This is motherfucking platinum. I've loved every single morsel of this feud. It's pitch perfect. They hit every single note that they were supposed to. Now, the only thing that remains is the match itself. I made a video a few weeks ago hoping that this feud would develop in a certain way, and so far it has. But as I said back then, clink, clink, don't do what I just did. Clink, clink. Make sure the chain catches and it holds. Do not break the chain, WWE. Don't break the chain. Carry through into the match itself. And what I found very interesting, speaking of talking about the match and stuff like that, in that segment, Samoa Joe was hungry and aggressive. Brock Lesnar was cocky, and it seemed like he didn't give a fuck. And I mean, that's textbook Brock Lesnar right there. I'm hoping that as far as the character goes, that was intentional, where it's like, that's just a front, where Brock Lesnar does acknowledge Samoa Joe to be a threat, but he's not gonna let Samoa Joe see him sweat during the buildup. But that new Brock Lesnar, or should I say old Brock Lesnar before the Suplex City stuff, that is the guy that shows up ready to throw down Clash of the Titans style at Great Balls of Fire. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that we get that old new, or new old, however you want to say it. Basically, pre-Suplex City Brock Lesnar, you know, first WWE run Brock Lesnar, this time around at Great Balls of Fire. And if we do, we are in for some good stuff, baby. Man, I can't wait. In the midst of this indie style that has basically infiltrated WWE and completely taken over these last few years, it's wonderful and refreshing to look at Great Balls of Fire. And at the very top of that card, we have two heavyweight matches featuring four big-ass, strong-ass dudes that are about to go into battle with these strong characters, very solid characters, stakes from the line, and great build-up leading into the show. I think that that is truly awesome. And if this show succeeds at the level that it has the potential to, then this could possibly be my favorite show of the year. And I'm not saying that it definitely is going to do that. What I am saying is, if I am to judge the potential of this show off of the buildup of it, clink, clink. Maintain the chain. Don't break that damn chain, WWE. Good buildup, good match, good show. It flows, right? It all makes sense. You gotta do it. Please don't try to do any BS. And I know there is a risk out there for this show to suck, as one of my other fellow PWF Empire contributors, Lucas, pointed out on Twitter. He said that traditionally WWE July pay-per-views tend to underperform intentionally from WWE because we do have SummerSlam looming in the background. If that happens to be the case, look, as I said many times before, criticize when necessary, but give credit where credit is due. Credit is definitely due with the wonderful job that WWE has done with the build-up for Great Balls of Fire. As for the show itself, shit, it could suck. But guess what? I am not gonna piss myself off twice based off of the possibility that Great Balls of Fire could suck. Because if it is a bad show, I'll call it out as such when I watch it on Sunday. But where I'm standing right now, Great stuff with the build-up for the show. Like, I don't even give a damn what else is on the card. The fact that you did such a wonderful job with the top 2 matches, you're good in my book. You got great build-up. That's all I ask for up to this point. But on Sunday, keep it together. Keep it together. And that is it for me, guys. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Let the conversation continue over on there at PWF Empire or down in the comment section below. What are you thinking about Great Balls of Fire, the 2 matches that I discussed in this video and all the rest of the matches at the show? Feel free to go ahead and discuss. Until next time, catch you later. Peace.